Welcome everyone. Today we have our very first tutorial, and what I'm going to be showing you how to do is to make a custom glass etching using a vinyl cutter, some etching cream, some gloves, and some tape. It's really all you need. Uh, what I'm doing here is I'm just removing the transfer tape to the actual vinyl itself. One thing you want to make sure is that you have everything aligned properly on the glass. It's okay that you have bubbles and things like that because you are going to be removing the vinyl after the process is complete. So the first thing we want to do is we actually want to tape off all the excess glass exposure on the panel. I'm using frog tape here, 2-inch wide, just to make sure that everything is completely covered and it's easy to remove once you get everything done. So what we're doing here, the reason why you want to cover all these edges is actually to prevent any of the etching cream from getting onto the rest of the panel when you are cleaning it off, because once it's on there it will begin the etching process. And so by covering it up with even just a small material like painter's tape, you can prevent that from happening and come out with a very clean and clear product. This process was actually taught to me by Iconic Mods, JB. He's no longer in the modding space, but he still deserves all the credit in the world, because when I learned this process, I used it on so many builds that it became second nature to me to do it, and I can usually get it done within about 10 minutes, with the exception of the wait time that you are going to have to endure for the etching cream to set on the glass. So what you'll see here is that I have just made sure that all of the edges and everything are completely clear and uniform. There's no exposed glass, with the exception of the centerpiece that we want to be etched into the piece. Now, what I'm doing right now is putting on gloves, because this etching cream is very, very hazardous, and I had already put on a small face mask because you don't want any of the fumes either. It is very intense, and it will burn your skin very quickly. This Armour Etch you can get at any of your local hobby stores. I picked mine up over at Michael's. It's a little bit expensive, but a little goes a long way. And so this bottle will last me through 6 to 7 builds, and that's worth it because the price is only about $40 for that bottle. So less than $10 per build. And that's pretty cheap for a mod. So what I'm doing is I'm just ensuring that I have enough on the panel right now to spread out with a brush. You can do it with a sponge, you can do it with a sponge brush, or you can do it with just a cheap, Walmart $2 paintbrush, which is what I'm doing here. What you want to do is you want to spread this evenly across the entire piece, ensuring that you have coverage in every area going the exact same direction with your strokes, because if you spread it out unevenly, or if you leave an exposed area, or say you have different direction strokes, you will actually notice that in the etching itself, just as if you were to have a laser go in 2 different directions on a piece, or a CNC machine cutting out a piece of wood. You will notice the different strokes. So once this is done, this is actually set for a good 30 minutes, and now we can remove our gloves. I have rinsed it off with warm water. Warm water is the easiest way to get it off. I do mine in the shower. just because you can rinse the entire panel, and it does make the tape a little bit easier to get off in the long run because it gets it a little bit wet. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt to remove overall, but it's well worth it for the finished product. So what you'll notice here is I'm just trying to remove all of the tape evenly, and I put it on a certain way in overlapping layers in a single direction by rotating it 90 degrees each time, because that makes it easier to come off in one solid run. Once we get this removed, we're going to begin the process of removing the vinyl negative from the glass piece and cleaning it. I'm just wiping it down with a rag really quick because some of that water that's in there does have a little bit of the etching cream still in it, so you want to remove that as quickly as possible just in case any gets on the glass underneath the tape while you're rinsing it off. Warm water does make the vinyl easier to remove as well. It loosens the adhesive, and this is just a cheapo Amazon vinyl pack that I bought for like 10 bucks for 60 colors. You can use any color, it doesn't matter, it's not going to affect how it comes out. I would just recommend using gloss over matte or say a metallic, because they are easier to cut and easier to remove, and they stay on a lot better. So now, once that we have everything removed, we can give it one more little wipe down or look and just ensure that we don't have anything on any side. And there you can see the overall finished product. I think it came out beautifully. How about you?